think we should do a traditional.
I think we should. You know, it's really important. There's still those out there.
That's right. We get all excited about doing all these other fun, trendy, neat things, but we really have to go with the old staples that are important to show you the proper way to do it, because that's what most of us do in our shop on a daily basis. So we're going to start with the little spray roses, and I call them miniature garden roses. I think it sounds more exciting, don't you?
Much prettier.
If you're selling a wedding or a
Much
prom,
prettier.
we can make a beautiful arrangement for you. We can make a beautiful little corsage out of some beautiful little miniature garden roses.
That's
And what do they
much
say?
Nicer. Oh, that sounds so great.
Yes. Oh, that sounds lovely. I'll take it. They don't even ask any more questions because they already picture the little picket fence at grandma's with the little garden roses growing, and it's lovely. So that's all you need to say. So I think we're gonna try to change that in the industry. So I call them miniature garden roses instead of spray roses, because to me it sounds more attractive when you're selling the item. So
It's all about selling.
exactly. So try to use some more exciting terms like that, or lovely terms, and it'll get your customer all excited, and you don't have to go into great detail once you've already painted that pretty picture.
Yeah, no
And
kidding.
go on to the next thing. So we're going to show, here's our little miniature garden roses.
I love that.
I know, it is. It's a great thing. And we're going to simply remove one from the stem. And the same thing as we did earlier that Heather did with the rose boutonniere. You're going to just simply cut that at a nice little angle. And then we need our wire. We've got our 24 gauge. And again, all you need is half. You know, they come in these long lengths, but you're going to just use half. Probably could use less, but... And then you're just going to pierce it right through the stem, and again, you just need that little portion to come down. You don't want to have two stems of wire or two pieces of wire. You just want to have one. And then you're going to tape that, and you're going to start taping right at the binding point, right where you've got that wire, because you don't want to see that wire. And you're going to again blend with the proper color of floral tape. And
You're taping backwards.
I know it. These lefties, we tape
Lefties.
backwards. I thought she was backwards. Gee whiz. Okay, then we're going to take our little cluster of baby's breath. We're going to do the same thing. We're doing a little cluster of baby's breath right around the front of the rose. And then we're going to put a piece of foliage. In this case, we'll use a nice little silk leaf. And again, you're going to do it in proportion. It all has to be in proportion with that flower. So you're making a little cluster, and then I go ahead and I cut the ends off first. And then I'm going to just place that right around, you're kind of nestling it right around the front. Isn't that cute? Then we're going to go ahead and place that beautiful, we're using a decorative artificial foliage. You could use fresh. There are so many interesting things on the market. There are the beads, there are pearls, so many things, those little pearl sprays you could use. Exactly. So we're going to just place that little artificial leaf behind there, and you've got your baby's breath, and then we're taping it all on together. It's all going to be taped on at the same time.
Now, you don't want to keep taping and taping and taping, because again, you get the fatty wad.
Exactly.
And you really try to avoid the fatty wad.
And then we've got that one little stem that's coming from that artificial leaf, so we're going to cut that off. And again, you still have that one beautiful stem, and we're just going to stop right there at the binding point. We only want to tape that only where it's absolutely necessary. And then we're going to stop. And then depending again on what you have charged for the corsage, this can be worn as a shoulder corsage. It can be worn as a wrist corsage. We also have now magnets in the industry.
Oh,
so
I
you can
love
also put the
the
magnets on. We had one last week, and the lady had a really sheer outfit, and she really wanted to wear something that wasn't on her wrist. So we did the magnet. So we are so fortunate in this industry to have some great products to work with. So then we're going to take these little clusters that we've already made. Now this is really crucial too. You're going to also use maybe your smallest rose towards the end, you know, of the beginning of your corsage. Let's see.
That one.
Missing its little feather.
Yeah.
But all right, we're going to do two. Now this is really important. Most people would take and they would keep on adding these stems and just taping and taping them. The important thing is to cut one of them off. You're going to tape it. You're going to cut it off. And then you're going to tape. So you've got the two flowers, but you still only have one wire. And this is what is so important. It makes it a lot lighter. So there they are, two. They're kind of laying flat, like one right on top of the other. Pretty simple. We're going to take our third flower and kind of nestle it right in there too. And it's kind of flush with the other two. Same thing. You're going to cut it. It's up to you if you want to cut it first or have something to hang on to and tape it a little bit. And then give it a cut. And you just want that one single wire. So it's still nice and flat, nothing big and bulky. I do not use your standard large roses for my corsages.
No.
Ever.
Yeah, they just
Once
flop all
we got
over
our little
the place.
miniature garden roses, I was like, well, that's over. I don't even offer it or mention it because they're too bulky, and they just, to me, they're just not attractive. They don't look good on a wrist that, something so big. So I just go with our little miniature garden roses, and that's it. Okay, just remember cutting each one as you go. That's what is so important.
That's looking good.
It is. So we've got 4 roses in here right now. And we can go ahead and add a ribbon. I'm going to show you how to make a bow really quick. Again, with this one I chose the sheer number 3, which is a nice thin ribbon, and it's nothing that's going to overpower the design. It's something that will just blend or complement. Everyone makes their ribs a little different. We're going to tie it off with a wire, so you'll just need your half piece of wire already cut. And you just kind of pinch the center and make a loop. Again, it must be in proportion. You're not going to make a bow this big
really
for corsage
or
that big.
It's too small either.
Exactly.
Right?
You want it to be, if it makes you feel better to kind of hold it up and measure. Oh, that's good.
That looks
good.
good.
And then again, you don't want it to be all about the bow, so you don't want to make a ribbon that's so huge that it's a bow corsage.
And making the bow is important when you make it. When you bring it to the center, twist it a little bit to give it
that little turn.
That little turn.
Okay.
That really helps make it fluffy and pretty.
And then we're just going to take that wire and put it right in the center. And you kind of fluff it a little bit. You're going to twist it really tight. Give it a little crank. Some people don't twist it tight enough. They think, oh, we're going to mess up the bow.
Yeah.
And, so there's your cute little ribbon. And then you're going to just nestle that right in there as well. See how perfect that fits? And then you're going to tape that in. And again, you're going to cut that wire off as well. I don't worry about taping that wire on the bow because I know that I'm going to remove it. I'm going to cut it off. Years ago we would have taped that too and then taped it together. So that's not foolishness. No. When I opened my own shop 21 years ago, I thought, I'm not doing all that stuff. I'm starting my own thing. So I did. I was cutting corners everywhere.
Makes sense though when you think about it.
And as long as you're aware of the proper care and handling of the flowers and how to take care of them, then you can kind of go off on your own and do things. As long as the number one thing is the end product.
Yep.
It's just looking so cute. I can't hardly stand it.
It looks so adorable.
It is. All right, then we're going to take another one. Now this is always a little bit complicated. People are like, oh, do you stick it in this way and then wire it all in, or what do you do? I just give mine a little bend.
That's why it's on wire.
So, exactly. And you just give it a little bend, and then you kind of put it between the loops of the ribbon, so it's facing a little upward. See how now it's got a little different bend, and then again you're going to tape that on, and then cut off the extra wire you've got in there.
It's fairly straightforward to do it. It's not a complicated piece at all. A little more time consuming, but definitely good.
And then depending too, if you want something more elongated, you could keep on going. Imagine this being up on your shoulder. So, I mean, you could just keep on going with it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And if you want something for the wrist, you might want to have it a little more compact.
Yeah, you don't want it too long and dancing and wacka.
Oh yeah. So we're going to just bend that one up too. And we're doing we're going to tape that one as well. And again, cut the other piece.
I like the idea of only using the garden rose instead of the big.
Well, it's kind of a decision that I made, and again, it's up to everyone, but it sure makes me happy. And hey, I'm the one making it, so
exactly.
You sell what you want to sell.
You're
sell
the professional,
what you know. Exactly.
And you know what? You're gonna.
And it's up to you to advise your customers. Now, if this was going to be a pin-on corsage, you could go ahead and ribbonize that stem.
Yep.
So you can ribbonize that and squiggle it into a little tendril, put your 2 pins in it, and voila. And you're done. It can be worn more on the shoulder with a little bit of a bend. Traditionally, they always had the argument too, should you wear the flower up or down? When it's an orchid, and you always wear it in the manner the flower's growing.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make sense?
That does make sense.
So, because years ago they would have that big orchid, it'd be turned upside down, and the big bow is what you were looking at. So, if anybody asks you that question, they're to be worn the way they grow, so they need to be more up.
That's a really good tip.
It is. Now, the other good tip we're going to show you is how to attach the corsage properly to your little wristlets.
Yes, and I get asked that a lot.
Yes, we're going to use your standard wristlet that has the elastic with a little metal attachment. Now, there are the coolest things out right now. We've got pearlized and all kinds of
Yeah, we get asked
different,
for that, and the gem ones.
and these are great because they become a bracelet that's a keepsake for your client, and you also have to charge for that. But you sell it that way. This is a bracelet, and then when the flowers do die, then you can take that off, and you've got that. So, but traditionally, I'm going to show you this because this is really crucial. This is what keeps it from flopping around. You know, when you go and they say, oh, they flop around, they flop around. That's because the florist put it down
way
here.
too low.
And then it's going to flop around. So never, never, never put it down there. You want to put it in the center of the corsage. So let me finish. I'm going to cut this off. And I'm just going to bend that up. And then I'm just going to show you how to do that real quick. So there you go. And you've got these, you know, your little ends. And I take those and bend those in first. So you can nestle them in there. It's a little bit awkward at first to try to get it in there exactly. But this is the way to keep it from flopping around. And then you're simply going to just bend it right in there. It's kind of like a little clamp. And get it around that top rose. But it's really important to make sure you're not going to break any heads off, but really
just gently.
Press that.
You're nestling.
Yeah, just press that in there pretty nicely because you don't want it flying off, you know, during the, oh gosh, that'd be
during the wedding.
a tragedy. So you just make sure that it's really pinned in there good. But see where it is? It's in the center. It's not way down here on the end, and that's
exactly, and that's what's going to hold it on properly.
And so if people tell you, oh, they flop around, that's because someone who is not a professional florist, a professional floral designer, created that piece, and they don't know any better.
Yeah.
Okay, then you're just going to slip it on the wrist, and it's right in the center, and it's not going to flop anywhere.
Yeah, you know, and then it's positioned correctly on the wrist too.
Exactly.
So just for looks and aesthetics, right?
Exactly. So that's really, really important. Don't forget that. Probably one of the most important things about doing a wrist is where you're attaching that wristband to that corsage is really crucial.
Absolutely, and make sure it's secure. That's the other thing.
Yeah, obviously. And then again, your finishing spray, and you're going to bag it, and then you've got a beautiful little
really
corsage
nice.
that can be worn on the wrist, or you can pin it on. This is also the same way you do it if you wanted to pin something on a purse. You would do the same thing and then just do your pins. Or sometimes I take a ribbon and have a ribbon tie off, and you can tie it to the strap of the purse so you're not damaging your purse and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and you can kind of experiment on your own before the event and see how it all works.
And just have fun.
Right. Hope you enjoy this one. Thank you.